Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Christina McNeil, and this is NB12 for Monday, June 25th, 2012, broadcasting from the Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. In news tonight, a series of recently reported rapes in quiet communities has police hunting for the suspects. Prime Minister Perry Christie voicing concerns over the Baha Mar development. Residents along Skyline Drive set to see a major change in their daily commute in a few weeks. Urban renewal workers still trying to get their jobs back and fighting crime on the courts. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. Your NB12 starts right now. Joining us. An increase in reported rapes in several eastern and western New Providence suburbs has raised concern among residents and prompted police to beef up their controls. With the most recent rape allegedly occurring this morning, police today addressed the issue. Jasmine Bonamy has more.
Police revealed today that they've launched a number of special operations over the past 6 months to capture the alleged rapists that they say have been operating on opposite ends of the island. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson, the recent spate of sexual assaults that occurred during early morning home invasions has left police extremely concerned. According to Ferguson, 4 of the rapes occurred in eastern New Providence over the past few weeks, leading police to beef up their presence in that area. You may recall a high-speed chase that ended with officers fatally shooting 2 men during a special operation in the Highbury Park area. Ferguson says police were in the eastern area around 2 a.m. that morning looking for the alleged rapist.
Just a couple of days ago when the incident occurred in the eastern area, you heard me spoke about officers were on special patrol. Recently, we were receiving reports of armed robberies where, in some cases, 2 persons or 1 person would break into a person's home. Generally, over the last couple of weeks, in the eastern area.
And it turns out that a woman was raped that same morning in eastern New Providence despite the efforts of police. While many of the rapes have occurred in the east in recent weeks, Ferguson says alleged victims who live in western New Providence have also reported 4 rapes. The most recent occurred around 5 a.m. today, prompting Killarney Member of Parliament and F&M leader Hubert Minnis to send out a message warning his female constituents to travel in pairs as there are reports of a robber rapist targeting women in that area. NB12 understands that some of the rapes are connected. Ferguson said police are looking into that possibility.
We cannot say it's connected, and that is why we are working through this. We're doing a number of things in order to kind of analyze what is actually going on. We believe that we will make some inroads in this and find persons responsible, but we cannot say that all of these matters are being committed by the same persons. As I indicated, in some cases there are 2 persons and then there is 1 person. So we have to look at it carefully as we probe these investigations. In the western, they were spanned over a period of 6 months, and in the east, we saw this trend basically in the last couple of weeks.
Ferguson says not all of the invasions include sexual assaults. According to Ferguson, the break-ins start off as robberies, where suspects steal cash and jewelry, and sometimes escalate into sexual assaults. They also have all occurred between 2 and 6 a.m. In some cases, 1 or even 2 suspects enter a home and hold residents at bay with handguns. With the home invasions occurring more frequently, Ferguson says police have beefed up patrols and created a special task force to put a stop to reported sexual assaults. Police are also encouraging residents to be extra vigilant.
The police have been active in respect to these investigations, and we have stepped up our patrols in the area, and among other things that I wish not to speak about that we are doing, I believe we are making all effort to try to apprehend these persons. We say to people to, in some cases, be alert as to who might be following you while you're going home. If you see a vehicle following you for any length of time, do not pull up in your yard. Go to the nearest police station and alert the police that I believe that I'm being followed, and officers will be more than happy to see that the areas are checked and that you safely get into your home and do some patrols around the area.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
And Prime Minister Perry Christie and his cabinet today meeting with executives of the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar project, which is in its third phase. Speaking to reporters briefly before a tour of the property today, Christie said he delivered what he called constructive questioning on a number of concerns. Charisma Robinson reports.
Now the Prime Minister's main concern is to get more Bahamians involved in the Baha Mar development.
With respect to the Bahamian component, how many Bahamians are employed, how many Bahamian contractors are employed, there has to be a full understanding on the part of the developers that we in the Progressive Liberal Party met with them whilst in opposition. We met with the NCTU whilst in opposition. We met with the TUC when we were in opposition, all to discuss training on this project. We met with the Contractors Association to discuss training and involvement of Bahamians on this project, and therefore we are in a position now to say, as the governing party, we want to see a full implementation of all that we said should happen here.
Vice President of Administration and External Affairs, Robert Sands, said his team advised the government during that hour-long meeting that while there are 1,000 non-Bahamians employed on work permits, Baha Mar has created close to 1,700 job opportunities for Bahamians. He also noted that so far, $550 million has been invested in the project. Of that, more than $150 million has been awarded to Bahamian contractors. Meantime, with respect to the project itself, the Prime Minister said his government wants to be fully satisfied that it is being closely consulted on all decisions that have to be made, particularly when it comes to marketing.
This development proposes to have the Bahamas government spend a lot of money, many millions of dollars, in pursuit of enforcing or interpreting and actually implementing the agreements signed between Baha Mar and the government of the Bahamas. Marketing, for example, a huge sum of money is to be expended, and therefore the first order of business is that we impress upon the developers the need for very close cooperation and collaboration.
Sands said Baha Mar is not looking for any additional monetary assistance from the government, and the only brand that has not been announced is the casino partner. Christie says that's a concern.
Whether Baha Mar would elect to do it themselves or a management company or bring in a brand, a very well-known casino brand named partner. It's a decision they have to make that I am advised will be made by the end of the summer. And so we really want to be careful with that, because that will determine how effective they will be as a casino-led hotel resort complex.
Overall, Christie says the meeting was good. Moving forward, he's hoping the government can forge a close relationship with Baha Mar for the benefit of this country's tourism product. Following today's tour, government and Baha Mar execs went into another meeting, this time to discuss OTEC and deep-sea cooling, something Baha Mar supports. Reporting for NB12, I'm Charisma Robinson.
Well, VP of Administration and External Affairs Robert Sands also talked about the pending closure of Skyline Drive as Baha Mar's road project progresses. Sands says the closure is to allow for the golf course to proceed.
And there will be two cul-de-sacs on either side, to the west and to the east. Baha Mar will be putting, as a matter of regularity, starting the 1st of July, a number of public service announcements in all of the newspapers and providing to the newspapers, articulating different signages and routes that may impact traffic. This has always been envisioned that this would be a part of Baha Mar reaching the 100-foot mark, and this will in fact happen around the 15th to the 21st of July.
Overall, Sands says the road project is on budget and on schedule to be completed for a December 2012 opening.
Corridor 7, we're working to complete Corridor 7 certainly by September, October. Will be public access. I should point out that it is Baha Mar's intention, in cooperation with the government, to hold a public update meeting sometime during the middle of July. This public update meeting which more than likely would either be held at the Wyndham or the Sheraton, would give an opportunity to the general public to be updated on the construction progress, the beach nourishment program that has garnered a lot of comments both in the press and through social media, and also any other topics.
A handful of urban renewal workers who were recently told their contracts would not be renewed next month today sought to reapply for their jobs, as was suggested by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Urban Development Philip Brave Davis. However, when the 5 workers showed up at the Ministry of Works this morning, they were told that the Deputy Permanent Secretary to whom they should apply wasn't available. They're just a fraction of the 80 or so workers on New Providence and Grand Bahama whose contracts reportedly won't be renewed. The Free National Movement claims the Progressive Liberal Party is victimizing opposition supporters. Former acting manager of the Fox Hill Urban Renewal Center, Cornelia Taylor, says she never shied away from making her political preference known, but she never believed it would matter.
We know who are F&Ms and PLPs amongst who we work with because, you know, it was an election trail, and persons, we spoke about politics on our off time whenever we socialized, so persons knew your political affiliation by that. And no one, we didn't think to hide who you are, because we did not know that if the government changes, that our job would now be in jeopardy.
Former facilitator at the Fort Charlotte Urban Renewal Center, Karen Brown, says she never discussed her political affiliation at work and believes she was unfairly branded.
Are you an F&M supporter?
I have the rights like any other Bahamian to go in the polls and mark my X to the person of my choice. And I did that.
And you don't believe it should matter?
No, it should not. Why should it matter if you give me a choice? That means I choose. So it should not. My voting for whoever I choose to has nothing to do with how I perform my job.
The government says no one is being victimized. It simply wants to restructure the rebranded Urban Renewal 2.0 program. Taylor says she's not buying it.
All of the workers here at the Urban Renewal program, we fully understand that when a contract has expired, it is at the discretion of the employer to re-employ, you understand, to re-engage you in employment. We know that it's at the discretion of them. They said in our letter that we received that they were restructuring the program. So my only concern is this: why was not the entire body of Urban Renewal sent home and to be made to reapply again? Why was it just a selected few who were sent home packing and now have to do this tedious process of coming to reapply, and persons are still on the job?
The F&M says it plans to protest in support of the workers who have been let go sometime this week.